Hey everybody, welcome to Happy Hour with Joel Fleischman. This is episode number 10. Today I have with me our number one year-to-date net profit people. We have, go ahead and introduce yourselves guys and ladies and tell us where you're from. Go ahead.
I am Danielle Timmick. I work in the Campbellsport location, outside flooring sales, been there 4.5 years.
I am Alana Smith. I work out of our Brookfield location. I do cabinetry sales and design, and I've been there almost 10 years.
Clint Patton, Berlin. Been doing this 7 years, and I am a quarterback.
Awesome. So I asked you guys to come on with me today. They're pretty nervous. And don't be afraid to have your beer. We're having a little happy hour here. So I asked them to come on today because they are the top breadwinners in the company. Something to be very, very proud of. Clint was actually worried his customers would be worried about that, but that just means he does a really good job. He should be proud of that fact. Little asterisk, Clint is not the top guy. That would be Tim Mulder, but he can't be here. So Clint is in A1A position right now. That's fair.
Thanks, Mulder.
Is this you guys all, is this your record year for all three of you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Stress level 1 to 10.
8.
9.8.
7.
What one tip you two, been doing it both longer, right? How long have you been doing it, Clint, sales?
15 years.
Alana, 10.
Almost 10, yeah.
Danny?
4.5.
4.5 from stress?
3.5 really well.
3.5 in sales, right? Right, so you went from 0 to full-blown top flooring person in 3.5 years. So yeah, she's at that point. So what have you two learned that could help her and maybe others that got there? Because I've seen her look today. I've seen that look on, not so much, I've seen that look on Clint. At the time he was working at home at final cabinets and back was out, knee was out, what else wasn't out, right, when he first got here. And I had a heart to heart with him, I remember. I know I've seen Alana like that. I've seen tears in the eyes and worse, right, Alana?
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, what are some tips and tricks? What was it an aha moment, or was it through time, or both? And do you remember any specific things that happened to get you where you're at now?
I think it's kind of both. I think it's time, and then you kind of get tricks and figure out as you go. I guess the best word of advice would be it always gets done at the end of the day at some point. So if you don't finish it the day you're working on it, you can always pick it back up tomorrow. And I think it's much easier to call someone and tell them, hey, we're doing our best, but we're going to need a little extra time, or we'll have it to you for sure by this date. And I like to budget my guests a little bit more time on my end and then get to them sooner than having to call them, hopefully. So, and kind of budget your time accordingly. And
so under promise and over deliver would be a key. Do you have an aha moment at all where you're just like, I hit rock bottom, I didn't know if I was going to do this job, I was going to quit, I was so stressed out, and then this happened and I realized it was going to be okay?
I don't know if it was necessarily an aha moment or if it was just figuring out that balancing everything at the end of the day, keeping your to-do list and marking it off, checking them off and putting it in chronological order. I mean, I still to this day stack folders accordingly instead of just on like a paper notepad or a list online, because that way I can at least watch the file go down and it gives me some satisfaction knowing that they're getting filed away when I finish them. So.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's just about prioritizing and executing, and then trusting the team. I mean, just stepping back and be able to say, hey, I need you to grab this, take it. And if you got questions, call me, I'll be here, but just trusting that it'll get done. And then you got to follow up.
So don't circling back.
Yeah.
Don't circle back. Don't triple check. Don't.
Correct.
Just let it go.
Let it go.
The Patriots do your job, right?
Yeah.
Trust everybody else doing their job.
Which admittedly, there'll be some people that say I'm not the greatest at that sometimes, but that's when I know it's time to step back and say, all right, I got to let go. I got to move on to the next thing. So I think prioritizing is huge. Just be able to step back for a second from the fire and go, okay, I have to get this, and this done today. And then I move on to the next things, and it kind of just starts falling. The dominoes start falling once you knock out the things you have to get done.
So at what point did you guys go for it, right? I mean, did it just happen randomly? It's just how you're driven? Have you always been this way? You're doing some things that other people aren't even craving to do. They don't want to be Danny. They don't want to be Alana. They don't want to be Clint. They're like, I'm happy where I'm at, which is great. Or the customers just keep finding you and you just are a legend in with your own career? Any of those could be true, I guess. Danny, how about you?
I guess I always give it 110%. I always have. I kind of crave being able to grow like that. That's just kind of a goal I have.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think I am always striving to be better than I was the year before and try to less mistakes, better margin, whatever it may be, more orders, more customers. So I think I always have that goal in my head and I just keep trying to achieve it every year and trying to get better as I go.
I'm sure a lot of people know this, I'm just a very competitive person at heart. Through athletics, it's always been go, 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 and if you're not the best, well, how do I get to be the best? That's the way it's always been. I don't really know anything different, just kind of wired that way. So whether it's coaching or sports or selling or cleaning the house, it doesn't matter. It's got to be right, and it's got to, you play to win. So for me, it was just that way.
So crazy year. You're all having your 3 record years, right? We established that. So that's crazy, right? We had quarantine, we had pandemic, we have the pandemic, Corona, lead time, shipments, back orders, right? We've been closing our showrooms for a while, but here you are. You're having your best year ever. Super blessed, obviously, and I'm sure you all, hopefully at some point, appreciate that. But what is holding you back currently? What is what we call kink in the hose? What's like, man, if you could take this out of the way, my stress goes from a 9 to a 6, a 7 to a 5. What would be that thing that you would say, boy, I wish we could attack this? It may not be fixable, but what is the reality of it? Could be at home life.
I would say sometimes it's just damaged product. Sometimes it could be issues with delivery, things not getting on site on time, whether it didn't come in on time. I mean, I think the number of extra spruce tickets sometimes we have to write, or orders that we have to get out, or deliveries we have to make. That sometimes is the thing that I think really at the end of the day is the thing that doesn't allow us to get the next couple of things done.
Is that fixable, or is that just the way it is?
I feel sometimes it's a little bit of the nature of the beast, it's just, that's kind of the industry we're in. And unfortunately, especially right now with lead times on things and issues with deliveries, it just unfortunately is that way. And hopefully we can just keep getting better.
Joshua Metcalf, right? Burn your goals, control the controllables, only control what you can control. Those things are out of your control. Is there anything you can think of in our control, Alana, that we could say, boy, I wish our company or our industry or we could attack this? That would help me, or something personal. Anything you can think of? Interesting question. Look at the salesmen. The salesmen are quiet. Clint, Danny, do you have anything? What do you think?
Right off the top of my head, just something that's tough to fix is for us as a millwork end of things. The time we spend trying to figure out why product's not there, what's not there. We do a little bit larger with the multifamily, and there's so many variables between somebody put a door in the wrong spot, somebody did this wrong, or didn't get there, or did it get ordered wrong. I mean, we spend so much time expending trying to find out the why of what happened that sometimes it's like, just get it there, we'll figure out the rest later. But if we could get product on site the way it's ordered, that would be a great thing.
On time and full.
For me, I would say getting extra support in the office, like helping with the bids and things like that. I don't have a ton of that help right now, but I think that would definitely help me out quite a bit.
Right, and we have positions. You're grooming somebody, you have a position available, or both, or?
I would say we're grooming someone.
Right, and who's that?
Jennifer.
Jennifer, she
So
seems
we've
great.
had a little bit of turnover that we've had to fill other gaps, and she's amazing. It's just getting her to be able to focus more to help me.
Okay, good. Okay, my next question I kind of want to explore is, I gave these guys a whole bunch of prepared questions. I probably won't ask any of them. So elevator speech, you guys, an elevator speech is you go from the 100th floor to the first floor. You took Dale Carnegie. Have you taken both? All three taken Dale Carnegie? Danny has and Clint has. So an elevator speech. Or if you take any sales training, you should have an elevator speech. My name is, I do this, I sell this, right? Or networking events, but they call that an elevator speech. Who are you going to say you are, and what do you do? And what does Drexel do in about 30 seconds. Alana, you're acting like you already, like, you know what elevator speech is? You've
Yeah.
been kind of trained on it at some
Yeah.
point. Was that through Dale Carnegie? Is that right? Or was it something else?
I don't know if it was through just training here or if it was Dale Carnegie, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but that at some point in my life, I had to learn my elevator speech, right?
Yeah.
I thought, hey, which had to be Dale Carnegie because I haven't taken a lot
Yeah.
on that formally, but maybe I'm wrong. So we're gonna do that right now. I'll participate.
Okay.
I'll even go first to buy you guys some time. I haven't done an elevator speech in a long time. It's gonna be embarrassing. This could be a bad idea. Hi, I'm Joel Fleischman. Yeah, what do you do? I'm with Drexel Building Supply. I am the lead solution provider. I do actually own the company. What we do is we specialize in supply happiness. We sell a variety of building materials, mainly to contractors in Wisconsin, and we try to provide value through having the best team and the happiest team there is on the planet Earth. So we're the Walt Disney World of building materials, and we try to have, by having a happy team, we think that will actually engage our clients as well and make them very happy. Okay, beat that.
You wanna go or you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Whatever you got, whatever you got. So maybe I should have went last.
I'm Alana Smith. I work at Drexel Building Supply. I sell cabinets and countertops. I work with a variety of remodelers, builders, homeowners, retail walk-in, whatever it may be, to help them remodel their kitchen, bathroom, help them achieve kind of the look they're trying to go for and bring in the materials available for them, and then kind of guide them through the whole process to the completion so that they can enjoy their new space.
Wow, how do you follow that?
Mine, you mean mine.
Everybody, right? I better go before dancing.
Just go to the bar.
Yeah, right. Clint Patton, quarterback, Drexel Building Supply. Work mostly commercial, multifamily, sourcing, pricing. Just looking to fit the product into the right spot for you. And just making sure that you have an extra set of eyes on site. Somebody that's taking care of your project, looking out for you, looking out for your back, and making sure that your project's done on time.
I am Danielle Timig. I work for Drexel Building Supply out of the Campbellsport location. I supply happiness by the floors that you walk on. I enjoy meeting with homeowners and picking the things that they think are going to wow their new addition or home. That's me.
Cool. So that was good. I know it was the best, but you know, it's cool. I'm the boss. Okay, 550 people. We have about 60 to 70 people that drive all the revenue. Tons of pressure. How do you let it go on the weekends? How do you let it go at night, or don't you? Are you struggling with that? That's a lot of pressure for our team, and we have high expectations, right? Joel Fleischman himself has your thumb on a little bit on everything, and you know, we call ourselves a world-class company, which is really hard. We don't say we're an average company. We say it over and over again. Our mission is to supply happiness. That's a bastard of a mission on a day-by-day basis. So how do you guys sleep at night? What do you do on the weekends? How do you kick back? Or don't you? Are you like, no, I'm really struggling with that? Or do you have a go-to routine?
For me, it was just getting in better shape, exercising, walking early in the morning.
What time is that at?
4 o'clock.
4 a.m.
Yep.
Year-round?
Yep.
Every day?
Probably 6 days a week.
6 days a week?
Yep.
For how long?
Since January.
And you live in the country?
Yeah.
Rain, sun, or shine?
Yes.
Dogs?
Rain a little bit, no dog.
No
Dog's not great at
Just
morning.
you?
Just me.
Just you? Alone time for how long?
45 minutes. It's more
45 minutes?
Yep.
Same route or different routes?
Mainly the same route. I can only go left or go right at the end of the road and try not to get hit by cars is usually the.
So it was light for, I get up around the same time. It's light for about 30 days in Wisconsin, is
Yep.
that right? Is that not glorious though, the 30 days when it's light?
It's like, yeah.
When it's light at 4 a.m., it is just priceless. But then all of a sudden by end of July, early August, you're like, oh, things are happening in Wisconsin already. It makes me so
This
sick.
morning was dark.
It's dark,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pitch dark right now already. You bet.
But for me, that was great. And then just making a commitment to coach the kids in sports and just saying, I have the time to do it instead of more so making an excuse saying I didn't have the time. I think it was just I had to prioritize my life and make sure that I can't spend every waking moment on my customers. They're not going to worry about me. I got to worry about me. So it's not that I think about them any less. I just worry about myself and make myself a priority. So first thing in the morning, I get up, I do my thing. And then I try to get done to be there for the kids and weekends, coaching baseball. It's some long weekends, but other than that, I'm pretty boring. Chilling with the family, hanging out. I don't really go out to the bars or do anything like that. hang with the kids and try to be dad.
Well, I try to never say I don't have time. That's actually a lie.
Yep.
We all exactly have 24 hours. I choose not to do that. I spend my time different ways.
Correct.
That's the right answer.
Correct.
Book Solve for Happy, which is on our second book club. Read that, one of my favorite books of all time. Kelly up in Little Chute just read it as a book report. She said it should be a college class. There's so much good in there. And a big part of that is that time, and it's kind of a mind-blowing thing. Time is an illusion. It's an illusion of time. Time is, don't chase the clock, just live in the present. If you live in the present, there really is no time, right? So just be present. That's really good, Cliff. Thank you. Danny? Remember, you're 9.8, so now you can't lie that you're really relaxed on the weekend.
So this is where Todd was reading my notes before we came up here, and you kind of asked this question, and I basically...
You're not a perfectionist at all, are you?
No, I suck at this 100%.
He's totally a perfectionist.
Balance, I'm horrible at. I work quite a bit on the weekends, but I do try to carve out some time. We live on a little hobby farm, so we have goats, dogs, chickens, horses. We're getting alpacas this weekend, so that's kind of my...
But you keep adding on.
Yeah.
But you keep I know you now, Danny, long enough. Like, I've given up trying to help you because you just keep piling on.
No, I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry, that's just who you are. But do you think there's going to be a point in life where you're going to say, where do you think that comes from? Do you think there's going to be a point where you say, I need a gap, I need space, I need time to think? Or is that literally when you're on the hobby farm? Or when you're on the hobby farm, like when you work, does that make you happy on the hobby farm? Or when do you actually let go?
Yeah.
So you enjoy it, that's a out.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's your out?
Yes.
Yeah, because your brain works differently then, right? Right, great, thank you.
Well, I'm in the whole shoe with Danny. I do a decent amount of work on the weekend and at night. Sometimes it's not less exactly doing designs, but more or less it's just keeping on top of emails. I think that sometimes is a thing that can bog me down during the day when I'm trying to get things out the door or bids done and things like that. So I try to stay on top of them as much as possible in the evening. But I do make a point to always do kind of like a family dinner, and I as well always walk in the morning. So those are kind of my time to kind of clear my head a little bit.
Not 4 a.m. and not
4 a.m. I'm much later.
We have a dog.
We do have a dog. We take the dog, yes. So Brian and I walk together every morning. It's kind of just our time to kind of catch up on life together, which is nice and kind of needed sometimes.
Can you just show your ring off? I don't think I've seen that yet. What in the world? Bring that up again.
Come on.
You gotta show it. Let's go. You have one.
Well, now you're getting me embarrassed.
It should
That wasn't on the list. No, that wasn't a question.
Yeah, I give these guys a list of questions. But we're gonna just be very often. I got the salesman on their shows for sure. So, that's really good. That's really good. So, we're always looking for more salespeople. Maybe somebody's listening here that's in operations or a specialist, and they're always wondering, sales life, what would you tell a young salesperson? Or maybe there's people that are just starting out and they're like, someday I want to be you, right? You guys are role models at this point, if you realize it or not. What do you want to tell them? Or they're talking to your former self, even if you can do that question, right? So think of it that way. You're just starting out, what do you wish you knew when you started out?
I guess I would say just go for it. I think kind of how I started at the company is kind of a unique situation where...
Yeah, tell the whole story, please.
I graduated college with a degree in interior design in 2008, kind of during the kind of recession when a lot of people weren't hiring interior designers. So for a while...
Nobody was.
Yeah, nobody was, let's be real. So I worked at a flower shop, after college for a while, just trying to make ends meet. And then in 2010, I actually started at Drexel.
Who interviewed you?
I think you interviewed me.
I did, yes, I did, yeah.
I feel like it was like kind of challenging me. So yeah, Joel.
And there was no team interview.
No, it was just Joel and me in a room. And I actually started as the receptionist.
I don't think there was even a second interview, is that correct?
Probably not. I worked this is when we were open till 8 p.m. So I would come in from 4 to 8, like a couple of nights a week. And I worked that for probably a month before I kind of transitioned into a cabinetry sales role. So I would say, sometimes it doesn't always start out the way you want it to. And, it might not be where you want to be, but take the jump, take the leap, because eventually it will get to where you want to enjoy and be in life.
Great story. I interviewed Alana. I don't even know if she remembers that. We did not have a spot for her. We didn't have case studies. We didn't have open positions. We knew what we were looking for. And Alana interviewed her. I had no clue what she was going to do. So I think we invented the 4 to 8 coverage thing. So why didn't you sit at the counter from 4 to 8, which was just a bastard of a job, right? It's kind of the host.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the phones don't ring that much from 4 to 8, so I don't know. We kept her busy for a month, and then a position did open up in cabinetry, and she's absolutely killed it ever since. So that was just awesome.
Yeah.
That was just awesome. Great story. Great. Okay, good. Go for it. What else? Other themes you guys would have?
I would say just trust the process and listen to people that have been there and actually listen to what they're saying and not think that they're just telling you like what this is how I did it back in the day, but to just listen and gather confidence from that and understand that there's a process to this, and to be able to just work your way through problems and not be afraid to bring problems up. I mean, I would encourage people to reach out to your store leaders. If you have a problem, pick up the phone and call them. Don't be afraid that, holy crap, there's a problem or I messed something up, something's gonna happen. Pick up the phone, call them, walk your way through it, and create a solution, and then get back to your customer as fast as possible. I think confidence is a huge thing. Where that comes from, I don't know. After a couple of years, you just kind of start going, maybe I am good at this. So, and I think your customers feel that too.
So listen.
Yeah.
So
listen.
Cool. Danny?
I would say, especially for me, I started in a support role. So this isn't even something I really saw myself doing, but that's kind of where I started, and I was able to learn a ton in that role. So it was kind of just a smooth transition. So even starting, like I said, in a support position and working your way up, I think that was a pretty smooth process.
And I do too. I think so too. I think patience is awesome. Now, you didn't all come to those traditional roles, but I still think some of our best people came from an operational specialist support person. They understand all the aspects of it. You kind of got to come through the grind quite often, even if it's 4 to 8 p.m. So,
one phone call at a time.
Yeah.
what do you think we do the best at Drexel? Like, if you're like, why should I buy from you? What do we do the best? What's your go-to? What sets us apart from the competition?
We get product to the site. At the end of the day, the operational team does a great job. If you need something, they make it happen. And I've worked at another place where that didn't happen. And that's the hardest thing to explain when you promise something to somebody and it doesn't get there. So that's probably the biggest thing. It's just being able to trust that if I set something up there and I need to by Thursday, that it's gonna actually be there.
That's great. And you guys sell different products, right? So you have flooring installations, you're doing cabinetry, Clint's doing building materials. For you guys, what's your go-to? Danny had to check her notes. My goodness, can't be that hard a question.
I was just looking, I feel like I wrote something about this. For me, installation, like that could make or break you. That's so important to have qualified installers who are gonna be there on time in full, essentially too. That's a huge, I could do an amazing job in the beginning and they could totally ruin that sale for me. So
You think we do that better than anybody?
I would think so, yes.
And why do you think that? I mean, a lot of our installers are subcontractors.
Correct.
So they aren't coming to everything that we do at Drexel, but how do you make them feel they're part of Drexel, or why do you think our installers are better? It's an easy thing to say. In reality, what do we do differently because of that?
I guess I don't know what we do differently, but I know we have an extensive interview process, it's a team decision. It's not like one person's deciding what subcontractors we're gonna use. We get multiple people, we go to job site visits, we really do our background homework before we even let them on.
You try to keep them loyal. I mean, you're paying a little bit more than the market. You're trying to use them consistently, so we're always looking for those A installers. I know in some other places they're just grabbing any installer that's available at this given rate, but you're always working with your installers, quality control, improvements for them to make their life easier too, so when they do get to your site, they're happy installers, right?
Yep.
Is that right?
Exactly.
I would say it'd be kind of reachable and reliable. I guess we're a little bit different just because a lot of times the finished carpenters installing our cabinets have never even seen our cabinets before or met us or are familiar with the type of cabinets we sell. So I think it's important that we do a nice job of always making sure the delivery paperwork goes out correctly and all the notes are on there for them, as well as, stopping at the job site when they first start setting cabinets, just to make sure that they understand kind of what our expectations are and what the homeowner is looking for and what we've kind of sold to them as well, because sometimes they weren't involved in any of those conversations. So I'm always happy to answer my phone when there's questions and get back to people too, so that there's no issues.
Getting back to people.
Yep, very important.
So Danny, Alana, not so much Clint, it's because that's not primarily you, but for you two, what have you done, and maybe we're getting out of the pandemic, I'm not sure, pandemia, is what are you doing for clients? How is your client meetings gone, right? You're meeting with people picking out selections. Are you still doing mostly face-to-face? Are you doing mask mainly? Are you doing Google Meets? Are you doing Zooms? A combination of all that? Are they going faster, slower? What are you feeling?
I'd say it's a combination of all of it. I do have some customers that still are not comfortable coming into a showroom. I have some customers that would like to prefer to come in after hours because they're not comfortable being in the showroom when other people may be there. So I'd say it's definitely a combination of everything. And if the customer's wearing a mask, we're wearing a mask. You know, we're making sure that we're taking all the steps, even if I'm going to somebody's house, making sure if they want me to put a mask on, that we're doing that. So I'd say we're pretty flexible and kind of just do what we need to do to help that customer get through this whole process.
Right.
And I would say all of my selection meetings are typically in person. I haven't done a ton of them via virtual lately, but I will say we do some background work ahead of time, either emailing photos or ideas or things like that. As far as masks.
Do you think you'll stay with that? Trying to get to gather the information before to mimic to you're more efficient, but the homeowners are too, right?
Keeps us on task, I would say too. As far as masks, I would say 75% of my clients aren't wearing them and 25 are, but obviously if they are, we are. So.
Right, absolutely, mimic the customer, that's great. Okay, so I gave you guys 11 questions from Tim Ferriss's book, The Tribe of Mentors. So he tries to interview the top, most influential people, you three, right, in the world. Like that really is his goal. And then what can we glean from the common threads of these 11 questions? It's a great book. It's very long and tedious. It's more like an encyclopedia than a book, but it was a fun read. It was a fun read. So I gave you 11 questions. We're not going to go through all 11. But is there a question on there that you have a good answer for? That you said, you know what, of these questions, and you know what, they actually wrote them down, which is unbelievable. Because I told them not to prepare, and yet they did. I said, just have a little guideline of what we're walking into. Is there one that gravitates to you, or I'll just ask a random one? Don't look at their notes, ridiculous.
I would probably gravitate to the gigantic billboard.
Yeah, so go ahead and read the question.
It was, if you could have a gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, metaphorically speaking, getting a message out to millions or billions, what would it say and why? It could be a few words, a paragraph, it could be somebody else's quote, something you live by.
And I think that's really fun. Fun to explore.
It's very fun. It did not take me long to come up with this answer.
Wow, that's really cool.
I would say my for sure quote is, a day without laughter is a day wasted. And I feel like sometimes you can get very burnt out, very torn up and kind of really stressed out and get stuck sometimes. And I think it's important to step back, make sure you're laughing, making sure you're having fun, which I think we do a great job at this company doing that. You know, if you need a moment, we're very accepting to kind of take that and need to kind of grow on it. So
I love it. That's great. And again, you can see why that book was so good.
Yeah.
It seems like an unusual question, but the way that you know the influential in our world, at least in Tim Ferriss's eyes, answered that was awesome, because you got a lot of cool nuggets from that. That was great. That was great.
I have one for that. It's just tough times don't last, but tough people do. And then same with the Belichick thing is do your job. Those are probably the ones that stick out to me the most.
So you're on 2 billboards, you're saying?
Yeah, probably. We're going to have to get some more sales right here.
Overachiever, yeah. Let's go back to the first one.
Yep.
Explain the first one to me. What was it again?
I mean, we
Say it
all
again.
know
It's a
tough
billboard.
times don't last, but tough people do. We all have things in our life that happen and ups and downs, and it's inevitable that you're going to go through something. There's going to be challenges, whether it's your childhood or in your work life or your family life, and you just got to get through them. You got to know that they're going to be there. Work the problem, and you're going to get through it.
I've even said, and I've read that, and I try to live that way. And all of us, and it might help your stress, Danny. Expect problems. Right? You guys are high performers. In fact, I used to really get stressed out. I just had a call like that yesterday. And we worked that problem out. But they'll call, and it just happened yesterday. Now, are you the owner, right? Let me get someone that is. Those are never thank yous, okay? And that used to really stress me out because it would set me off. You know, you're not ready for the call. It would just kind of set me off. And it can happen Sunday afternoons, Saturday nights. I mean, they can happen anytime. But what I learned is, hey, we're a $250 million company with 550 people. We make around 300 or 400 deliveries every day. We do probably 20 installs a day. Probably have 75 going on at any given time. That's going to happen. So how many, in that kind of organization, how many should happen? So I actually wrote it down once. And at that point, I think it was like, well, I should at least allow for 1 a week, which is 4. Right? That's not that many. If it's over 4, maybe I got a problem. And it's much less than 4. So again, expecting that to happen is not the worst thing. And it's also called roots. I'm a big believer in the trees have roots, and the strongest trees have roots. You can live your life just flying by, partying, living frantically, not having a lot of faith. You can just skate by for a very, very long time. But when someone dies around you, when somebody has cancer, when you yourself are in a health crisis, when you lose your job, when shit hits the fan, if you don't have deep roots, which just basically means you're not expecting it, you got nothing. I've been to a lot of funerals. I went to one today. And honestly, the families with faith and the families that are close, they're pretty damn tough in funerals, even damn tough funerals. But the families that aren't too connected, probably let things slip, they're a mess. Nothing wrong with being a mess at funerals, but I mean, you can just tell they're psychologically in big trouble. But the roots aren't too deep. It's just a way of life. All right, Danny, we'll do the same billboard question since we're 2 for 2. What's your billboard?
You're not growing, you're dying.
What does that mean?
I got that one from, but.
I think Joel said that.
Just always trying to get better.
What does that mean to you?
Always trying to make myself better, grow, personally, work-wise, just always trying to get better.
That was great. That was great. Okay, so you guys both owe me your favorite question or your favorite answer to the question. It might not even be the favorite question.
Which question?
Anyone you want. Again, which one do you like? Boy, I hope he asked this one because this is the one I'm ready for.
Wasn't that ready?
Or if you just liked it, if you just want to explore it. Well, Danny stayed up till 11:30 last night. There's got to be one that she's like, I got this.
I liked what purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or in recent memory. So you're probably gonna laugh at me about this one, but we got 10 chickens this spring.
How did I know you were going there? Like I couldn't tell that. It's so on.
Animal related. So it's my kids' job to take care of the chickens. They do the chores morning and night, so obviously they're learning from that.
No chores. It's 100%. It's 100% self-ownership. I mean, we're talking cleaning.
Everything: cleaning, feeding, watering,
Okay.
collecting eggs.
Yes.
Then
The hens can be nasty when you collect, right?
gross, yeah.
It's gross.
Sometimes, yeah. So
You
then
dig
your poor
dig in
kids.
there, right? You gotta dig in there. The hen's like, get away from me, right? But
Yeah,
they're okay with it.
yeah.
I don't know if I could do that. That's just nasty, like every day. Like,
I mean, it's not horrible, but so then they sell the eggs. So
Oh, How many eggs a week with 10 layers?
we get 10 a day.
No deaths yet?
No deaths.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
So
What kind are they? The Easter egg ones or
no,
the?
they're the red pullets, so they're just a regular brown egg.
Oh yeah, red pullets, sure.
So they sell a dozen eggs for $3.
Cheap. You're cutting yourself
Right.
short. You got to get like $5.
It's all the Drexel people, so thank you all, everyone. Prices are going up. They're going up.
Organic, cage-free for the kids. Come on now.
So it's their job to clean all the eggs and get them ready. I bring them to
And then you
work.
got to clean them.
We clean them right before we're delivering them.
Yeah, but
Yes.
still, that's a pain in the ass.
There's gonna be shit all over them. and nobody
Yeah, that's what I
wants
meant. Like that's gross. Don't tell Alana she's from the city. She thinks they come clean. She doesn't even know. She just thinks like there's eggs that just like grow on a tree. She doesn't even have a clue.
So I bring them to work, I collect the money, bring it back to them. It's their job to take care of that money, and I actually take them to the feed mill. They go into the feed mill and purchase the feed, like they pay the lady and whatever.
Right. So what's their margins?
I mean, it's pretty good. I think there's some taking out of the jar a little bit when I don't see, but yeah. So then they
You
split
charge
the
rent on the
percentage.
land?
I don't yet, but it's gonna get real close.
Yeah. I would be
Animals,
renting the
yeah.
space, you know, you gotta rent the space.
So just like a small purchase like that can, I guess my point is, can bring so much. It's teaching them a work ethic. And things like that.
Entrepreneurial spirit too.
Yes,
You bet, that's great. How much have they made so far?
probably a couple hundred, honestly.
That's awesome. That's great, good for them. Cool.
I would say mine is probably investment in time. I went through a workaholic stage too, where
What the hell are you talking about? What question are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about.
Read the question, like, these people don't know.
what is the
we're doing.
best or most worthwhile investment you've ever made? It could be investment of money, time, or energy.
Great, thank you, okay.
I went through the workaholic stages where 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and thought I didn't have time to spend with the kids, and thought I was doing what I was supposed to be doing because I was putting a roof over their head. And at the end of the day, just making that investment to say that I have the time to do it, and you know what, I just had to make some personal changes and get my ass out of bed earlier. That's what it boiled down to. And then investing some time into getting in better shape and just feeling better throughout the day and not feeling like you're dragging 24/7 because you just ate 4 burgers at McDonald's.
So okay, honest question, and again, I'm setting you up for the answer, but be truthful.
Yep.
You are working less, do you feel like you're getting more done?
Yes.
I feel, Clint, since I've met you, you're a much happier, more contagious, positive energy person. The first year I knew you, I could tell you were trying to get there, but you were an energy suck. I mean, that's just blunt truth.
Yep.
I mean, you were like, he's pretty intense, you know, kind of scared to be around. Alana, I worked with you in 2010.
Yeah,
Not many people know that Joel.
correct.
How was that, Joel?
You were a little intense.
I mean, I walked in and I owned it, right?
Yeah.
In a bad way, correct? Not in a good way.
Correct, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Sorry, Joel.
not every day, but 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to get the good Joel in the good moments, right?
yeah.
And what was that like working for that Joel?
It was probably a little stressful on all of us because I don't think any of us quite knew how we were going to come in that day or what was going to be the fire item, and I think it was a little trying, but we all managed to get through, and I think we're all better because of it.
Yeah, but that wasn't good.
Well, that's true, but
It
we're not
wasn't
there
good.
anymore.
What?
I'm like, we're not there anymore.
Right, but have you seen a change in me though?
Yes, absolutely, hands down,
Right.
without a doubt.
Right. And that really was for me was less.
Yeah,
And just starting to say no.
yeah, and I think you grew in the trust that you had in everybody else, and I think you kind of let them do what they needed to do, which is important.
Yeah, what do you think changed in me?
I think you trusted your team. You know, I think you tried to handle it all, and I think, as we all do sometimes too, is, you know, you have to step back and you have to trust the people that are in place to handle what they're supposed to handle.
Right, and I always felt I had the trust, but I didn't exude the trust
True.
because I just thought I could outwork it, right? So you're saying you didn't really trust the team, which is a lot of pressure because you're like, Joel doesn't trust me. But it wasn't that I didn't trust you, I trusted you guys all explicitly,
Sure.
but I just wanted to keep working and show you by example and thought that kind of leadership was needed and warranted. And I was intense only because I was doing so much.
Yeah.
So I had to go to the next thing and get to the next thing and get to the next thing. And then you're basically kind of starting your own fires, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right? If you send off 100 emails a day,
Yeah.
you're going to get 200 back.
Absolutely.
So why send it at all? Pick up the phone. And I see that with a lot of our team. They start a lot of their own issues and they don't realize it. Or they said, please CC me in on everything, or let me double check before you invoice, or. And you know what? I used to do all of that.
Yeah.
I used to get between 300 and 500 emails every day, 7 days a week. And I was very proud of that around 2010. And I would stay up till 10 and 11 at night, and I was in every email and CC'd in every group. But I was on it, right?
Yeah.
But yet, it didn't feel like I was on it. It felt like Joel was in my shit, right? Right?
Yes.
And I didn't have full context of the email, and I didn't have full understanding of their department and the stress level they were at and the emotional state they were at and where they were at in their careers. How could I?
Yeah.
But yet I knew everything that was going on. So again, I think the act of letting go allowed me to have a podcast with you guys today. And I think it's made me a better leader, but way better, it's made me a better human, right? And again, it wasn't that Joel wasn't fun, right? It wasn't that he didn't have a good time, and we just still laugh every day. but there was an intensity that was singeing other people.
Yeah.
I could have kept it up for my life. I loved it, but what I realized, and I didn't realize at the time, it literally was hurting those around us in a very bad way. I'm a lot, and you guys are a lot. We have a lot of people on our team that's a lot. But what they don't realize is you're a lot. You need to turn it down, and you'll actually get more done. That fair? All right, well, we're just about ready to wrap up here. Anything you guys are like, oh boy, you didn't talk about this, I thought for sure we were going to. Anything you want to leave us with in parting words?
I didn't prepare as much as you did. So.
I don't know, I guess
Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
yeah. I'm like,
I really appreciate it. You guys did great. I hope it was enjoyable. I guess if you got your drink near you, we'll just say a little cheers. I think we'll take just a second, just a moment. If you watched it till the end, we always thank you very much. I think we want to say too is, you know, these guys, and I wouldn't be here without the support of all of our customers, as well as our really big team that supports us as well. We aren't crap without any of those. So thank you all of them here. A little cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
Congratulations, celebratory, and you survived. So Happy Hour Podcast, Joel Fleischman, number 10, is out.